Dare to enter and bring calm with them. Their silence does not demand attention, and yet it invites reflection. Their steps do not echo loudly, yet they leave behind a feeling of warmth. And then there are others. They do not need to say a word for the energy around them to shift. The moment they arrive, something invisible moves through the space. It is like a sudden drop in temperature that no thermometer can measure. You feel it not on your skin, but beneath it, in the space between your breath, in the stillness of your bones. This is the first and perhaps most subtle sign that something unnatural walks among you: energy disruption. In ancient traditions, it is taught that everything in existence is vibration, from the heartbeat of the earth to the silent rhythm of the stars. Life is a dance of frequency. You carry your own energy field. When you are near someone who honors peace, your field stabilizes. You feel more centered, your breath deepens, your thoughts clear. But when you are near someone possessed by darker forces, forces that are not of this world or that have lost harmony with it, you feel fragmented. There is no storm, but your soul prepares for one. There is no threat, but your senses heighten. Your body knows before your mind does. This is not ordinary anxiety. This is resonance. A demonic presence does not have to roar or rage. Its power lies in how it alters the unseen fabric of a moment. You may notice that conversations feel forced around them, even if they speak gently. Laughter feels hollow. Smiles look strained. Time feels slower. Their gaze does not observe. It penetrates. Their silence does not soothe. It suffocates. They do not necessarily break things with violence, but they bend reality with their presence. You begin to question your thoughts. You feel exhausted after brief interactions. It's as if your spirit had to hold its breath while they were near. Such a being may seem charming to the unaware. They may dress well, speak softly, and carry themselves with what appears to be grace. But their energy reveals what their words conceal. Animals may shy away from them. Children grow quiet. Nature around them may feel oddly muted. Flowers do not bloom faster in their company. Fires do not burn brighter. These are the subtle signs of disharmony, the signals that life itself retracts. When this soul draws near, the earth does not welcome them. The air feels heavier. You do not feel safer. You do not feel more alive. Observe how your inner world responds when this person is close. Your body is an ancient instrument. It has survived countless generations of danger and connection. It remembers what the mind forgets. If your muscles tighten without cause, if your heart races while all else seems calm, listen. That is not paranoia. That is primal wisdom. That is your energy field detecting another frequency, one that disturbs, not because of difference, but because of danger. Sometimes you will find that your peace begins to erode slowly when you are in their presence. Not like a tidal wave, but like drops of ink into clear water, small remarks that unsettle you, lingering stares that disarm you, touches that feel unnatural. Even when they speak kindly, you sense that their kindness has weight. It is not given freely. It is bait. And every gift from them seems to carry a string you cannot see until it tightens. In sacred teachings, demons are not merely creatures of myth. They are energies, patterns of distortion, forces that seek to undo harmony. When such energy inhabits a person, it does not always scream. It whispers. It manipulates through presence. The way the wind bends a tree without being seen, you feel it more than you hear it. This is why awareness is your greatest protection. You must be able to recognize how you feel before and after they are near. If your thoughts grow darker, if your dreams become restless, if your faith in yourself begins to corrode, these are not coincidences. These are consequences of exposure to corrupted energy. You may find yourself feeling guilty for noticing these things. You may think you are being unfair or judgmental, but awareness is not judgment, it is clarity. If a fruit has rotted, you do not hate the fruit, you simply do not eat it. In the same way, when a person disturbs your inner balance without cause, it is not your duty to endure, it is your responsibility to step back and observe. Protecting your peace is not a form of violence. It is an act of spiritual hygiene. And what if others do not notice? What if they praise this person and call them kind, generous, loving? Then you must remember that energy does not always reveal itself to all. A sharp blade hidden beneath silk will not cut those who only admire the cloth. Only those who hold it without caution will bleed. In the same way, your sensitivity to this person may not be shared by others. That does not make it false. It makes it yours. Trust your perception. Your body is not deceiving you. Your spirit is not mistaken. The presence that causes disturbance is not meant to remain in your life. Their energy speaks before their mouth ever opens. Listen not with your ears, but with your being. The most dangerous forces are rarely those that reveal themselves openly. Demon, when cloaked in human form, does not announce its nature. It does not growl, does not bear fangs or spread its wings of fire. It moves with precision, calm, and an unsettling form of grace. It studies its environment and adapts accordingly. It reflects back to you the things you most wish to see, most crave to hear, most desperately hope are true. It becomes a mirror, not of truth, but of illusion. And within that mirror, it begins to bend your reality. This being may arrive in your life as a friend, a lover, a mentor, a helper. Their timing is calculated, never accidental. They seem to appear just when you are most vulnerable, most open, most in need of something, a guiding hand, a comforting voice, a sense of connection. And they provide exactly that. At first, they mirror your values, your dreams, even your wounds. It feels as if they truly understand you, not superficially, but on a soul deep level. They seem familiar, but what you're seeing is not understanding. It is mimicry. Demonic energy learns fast. It copies behavior. It replicates emotion. It echoes back your thoughts in slightly more seductive tones. It wears your language like a second skin. And because of this, you begin to trust. You let your guard down. You give them access, not just to your life, but to your mind. And once inside, they begin to rearrange things subtly. You don't at first, but over time, you begin to question yourself more. You doubt your instincts. You excuse red flags. You minimize discomfort. You rationalize confusion. This is the silent war within the mirror of deception. The demon's greatest power lies in its ability to distort truth into fiction, compassion into control, light into a trap. You may find that they seem overly supportive, but only when you are weak. They praise you, but only when you are dependent. When you shine too brightly, they withdraw or react with subtle disdain. When you grow, they shrink from you. They may sabotage your efforts gently, wrapped in concern or advice. They will never tell you not to fly. They will merely suggest the sky is dangerous. And so your wings begin to stiffen. They speak in tones of empathy, but their empathy is hollow. You may pour out your heart, and they nod in all the right places, say all the right words. But afterward, you feel strangely exposed, drained. Not seen but scanned, not heard but harvested. There is no healing in their presence, only a temporary relief that always returns with a cost. You begin to feel like you owe them for their kindness, their time, their approval. They create a debt without ever sending a bill. And your soul begins to pay in small increments, first your intuition, then your peace, then your clarity. The mirror of deception doesn't just show you what you want to see. It hides what you need to see. You overlook lies because they are coated in charm. You dismiss contradictions because they are wrapped in vulnerability. You forgive betrayals because they are followed by affection. This is not love. This is not friendship. This is strategy. The demon must keep its mask intact at all costs, because without it, its influence dissolves. So it works constantly to manage your perception, to manage its reflection. When you attempt to confront them, the mirror distorts again. They shift the blame skillfully. They gaslight your reality. They twist your concerns into overreactions. Their mastery lies in making you feel guilty for seeing through them. And in that guilt, they reinforce the illusion. You begin to question whether you are the problem, whether you misunderstood, whether your fear is irrational, but the soul does not fear without cause. The mind may be tricked, but the spirit feels distortion like a ripple of water. No matter how clear the mirror appears, your discomfort is the crack in the glass. Over time, you may begin to forget who you were before they arrived. You lose your reflection. You speak more softly. You walk more cautiously. You weigh your words. You shrink, not because they demand it, but because you subconsciously adapt to the energy that has surrounded you. The deception is complete not when you believe in them, but when you stop believing in yourself. That is the goal of the demon in disguise, not to destroy you with fire, but to hollow you out quietly until you are nothing more than a vessel of doubt and dependence. Such beings are not always aware of their own corruption. Some have been consumed by the very forces they now channel. But awareness does not excuse consequence. A poisoned blade still cuts. A false mirror still blinds. It is not your task to fix them. It is your task to recognize them. They cannot deceive without reflection, and they cannot survive without your attention. The first step toward breaking their illusion is to stop looking for validation in their mirror, to step back and see with your own inner eyes what has been disguised beneath the surface. In this world, there are those who nurture growth, and there are those who silently rejoice in the decay of others. They don't strike like lightning. They don't arrive like storms. Instead, they settle into your life like slow-moving shadows. You won't notice them at first. They blend in with concern. They offer listening ears. They wrap their presence in compassion. But underneath, something else is happening. There's a hunger behind their kindness, a quiet thirst that doesn't seek your light, but the cracks in it. This is how you recognize one of the most telling signs of a demonic presence in human form. They feed on your weakness. Weakness to them is not always visible. It is not bruises or tears. It is your doubt, your longing, your loneliness, your unspoken fears. It is the ache you try to hide behind smiles. They have a sense for it, not in the way a healer senses pain with the intention of mending it, but in the way a predator smells blood in the air. They are drawn to your inner fractures. They do not offer light to your wounds. They study them. They take note of what makes you hesitate, of what makes you lower your eyes, of what causes your breath to tremble ever so slightly. These are the access points. You may notice that when you are strong, clear, or confident, their energy shifts. They become more distant or strangely irritated. They do not rejoice in your empowerment. They do not encourage your ascension. Instead, they find subtle ways to bring you back to the place where they can reach you. This is not always done with malice or force. It is done with calculated softness. a reminder of your past failures, a small jab disguised as a joke, a concerned question that plants doubt. Their words are rarely direct, but the effect is always the same. You begin to shrink when you are in the presence of someone who feeds on your weakness. Your spirit feels heavier after every encounter. You may feel that you've shared too much. You may feel exposed. You may feel guilt, even when nothing was said to cause it. This is not emotional connection. This is energetic extraction. They do not take your story to understand it. They take it to use it. Your pain becomes their tool, not openly, but in the silence that follows. They build a map of your soul's tender places, and they return to those places again and again. These beings often show up when you are in transition, during heartbreak, illness, loss, or confusion. They are attracted to the noise in your soul. They pose as support, but what they offer is dependency. They want you to lean, not to stand, because when you stand, you no longer need them. And the moment you no longer need them, they can no longer feed. This is why every step you take towards self-reliance is met with resistance. They don't forbid it. That would reveal too much. Instead, they quietly pull you back, sometimes with affection, sometimes with guilt, sometimes with manufactured crisis, but always with the same result: your progress is paused. A demon disguised as a companion does not speak in curses. They speak in echoes of your own pain. They amplify your fears, not your courage. They exaggerate your flaws, not your strengths. They keep you focused on survival, not transformation. And yet, their manipulation is almost invisible. You begin to believe that you're just tired, just unlucky, just in a phase. But this is coincidence. Draining of your spiritual by someone who has no intention of helping you rise. It's important to understand that these individuals often present themselves as needing you. They will lean on you emotionally. They will share their wounds. They will create a false intimacy where you feel responsible for their well-being. But the truth is inverted. You are the source. They are the taker. They do not pour into you, they pour out of you. And what they leave behind is not connection, it is depletion. There may come a moment where you try to reclaim your strength. You begin to meditate, to reflect, to choose boundaries. And then you'll see it, the shift. Their tone may change. Their attitude may become colder. They may even turn others against you quietly. Because your awakening threatens their access. Your clarity breaks the spell. They do not want you whole. Wholeness is resistance. Wholeness is light. And where there is light, their hunger cannot survive. A true companion will celebrate your healing. A demon in disguise will feel threatened by it. They may never say so aloud, but their actions will reveal it. They will become distant when you succeed. They will act confused when you are happy. They will question your choices only when those choices bring you closer to peace. This is not concern, it is disruption. It is a silent attempt to draw you back into the familiar space of struggle, where they feel most at home and where you are easiest to reach. Their goal is not always to destroy, but to maintain access. As long as you remain uncertain, they can influence. As long as you are tired, they can guide. As long as you are emotionally hungry, they can feed. This is why they never truly uplift you. They compliment but do not affirm. They support but do not empower. They stay close but never walk beside you. Their presence is not companionship. It is surveillance. Their interest in you is not love. It is hunger masquerading as concern. In the beginning, it may feel like care. It may feel like closeness, like someone finally sees you, prioritizes you, wants you near. This person asks about your well-being more than others. They check in often, offer you their time, and position themselves as the one who truly understands you. It seems like love, concern, or even spiritual connection, but slowly, almost invisibly, that closeness begins to constrict. It narrows your world. Their voice becomes louder than others. Their opinions start to replace your intuition. This is not love. It is isolation and control dressed as intimacy. True connection does not confine, it expands. It does not ask you to shrink. It encourages you to stretch. But when someone is operating from demonic influence, they are not seeking unity. They are seeking dominance. The first step is always the same: remove you from your sources of strength, not through violence, but through subtle redirection. You may hear them question your friends, plant doubts about your family, criticize your mentors, even mock your spiritual practices. Slowly, the people who once lifted you become optional in your eyes. Your tribe becomes suspect. And soon, your circle closes around just one voice, theirs. They are strategic in this process. They rarely demand isolation outright. Instead, they offer an alternative reality, one where only they understand you, where everyone else is mistaken or jealous or too broken to see the truth. They frame themselves as the protector, the one who truly wants your success, but pay close attention. Their protection always comes with limitation. They do not guide you back to yourself. They guide you back to them. Your growth is monitored. Your choices are scrutinized, not because they fear for you, but because they fear losing their grip on you. You begin to second-guess simple things. You find yourself editing your words before you speak, wondering how they'll react. You hesitate before reaching out to old friends. You feel guilty for spending time alone or making decisions without informing them. This guilt is not a result of love. It is a sign of control. The demon does not bind the body. It binds the will. And when your decisions begin to orbit around one person, you are no longer walking your path. You are living under influence. You may even feel special at first, chosen, valued above others. They give you a pedestal, but use it to keep you isolated. They exaggerate the flaws of those around you, making you feel that no one else is worthy of your time. And so, without knowing it, you begin to distrust everyone but them. You look to them for affirmation, for safety, for clarity. You give them access to your vulnerabilities, believing they will honor that trust. But their goal was never to witness your heart. It was to own it. They will often create emotional dependency by swinging between affection and withdrawal. They give warmth, then pull it away, forcing you to chase it. You begin to adapt your behavior just to keep peace, just to avoid tension, just to feel seen again. And while you are occupied with managing their reactions, you lose sight of your own needs. Control has now taken root, not by force, but by emotional manipulation. The demon does not need chains, it needs patterns. And once those patterns are installed, your freedom becomes an illusion. Another tactic they use is spiritual gaslighting. When you try to assert boundaries, they accuse you of being selfish or ungrateful. When you seek solitude, they interpret it as rejection. When you seek counsel from others, they frame it as betrayal. They twist your pursuit of wholeness into rebellion. And in doing so, they keep you dependent. Every act of independence is met with conflict. Every spark of clarity is dimmed by guilt. This is not partnership. This is possession. You may also notice that your world feels smaller. Your dreams feel further away. Your vision becomes clouded, not because you are incapable, but because your energy is constantly directed toward maintaining peace in a connection that thrives on imbalance. They require you to be fragmented so they can remain essential. They require you to feel confused so they can provide direction. They require you to feel afraid so they can offer protection. And yet they are the source of that confusion, that fear, that fragmentation. This cycle is not love, it is a form of spiritual imprisonment. Even when you begin to wake up, to recognize the pattern, they anticipate it. They may suddenly shower you with affection, promises, and softness. This is not transformation, it is containment. They sense the fracture in their control and rush to repair it with illusion. They offer apologies not as healing, but as reinforcements to the cage they have built around your soul. Their aim is not to change, but to maintain access, because true change would require release, and a demon does not release what it believes it owns. They may isolate you physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, sometimes all at once. You may still see people, but you no longer connect. You may still speak to others, but their voices no longer reach you. You may still smile, but it feels disconnected from joy. This is what happens when the self is suppressed, the soul is silenced, the truth is buried. And at the center of it all is the presence that convinced you it was love, when in truth, it was control wearing the mask of closeness. There are some presences that shrink when light enters the room, not the physical light of the sun or the glow of a candle, but the inner light that radiates from truth, love, peace, and clarity. This kind of light cannot be faked, and it cannot be tolerated by that which hides in shadow. When someone resists your growth, belittles your joy, mocks your healing, or subtly undermines your transformation, you are not simply witnessing personality conflict. You are encountering something deeper. You are seeing how a presence recoils from what is pure. This is resistance to light, and it is among the clearest signs that something dark is wearing a human face. Watch closely when you begin to awaken. When you start meditating more, speaking with clarity, walking with deeper purpose, making peace with your past, observe who stands with you and who begins to retreat or lash out. A true friend, a genuine soul, feels joy in your elevation, but one who carries darkness within them cannot celebrate the rise of your spirit. Your glow threatens their illusion. Your clarity weakens their hold. Your alignment brings discomfort to their chaos. And so they do not cheer for you, they resist you. This resistance does not always take the form of open conflict. It is often subtle, cleverly disguised. They may make jokes about your spiritual path, calling it weird or pointless. They may scoff at your disciplines, your silence, your rituals, your choices for purity. If you begin to change your habits, they will tempt you back into old ones, concerned but that escaping